welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Thursday evening, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. Good evening, Kevron. Glad to have you here. As always, and as you can see by my radio station shirt that I'm wearing, tomorrow night is officially the kickoff to high school football season. Where I'm doing fantastic, Marcus. Thank you for asking. So there'll be no video tomorrow and no video Saturday. Normally, I try to come on here late Friday night and run down all the high school football scores from North Georgia, Northeast Georgia, and the upstate of South Carolina. And if anybody gives me one, I'll do it as well. But it's going to be after midnight, probably closer to 1 o'clock a.m. by the time I get home tomorrow night / Saturday morning. Then I've got to get right back up early for that big, huge wrestling show Saturday with Carlito and the Barbarian that I've mentioned. So there'll be no video Friday and no video Saturday. I'm going to try to do all of tomorrow night's high school football scoreboard stuff that I normally do on Friday nights sometime on Sunday. So stay tuned for that. We should be back on schedule come Sunday. And Marcus, I guess it depends on how you look at it. You say it came so fast, but to the football crazies and the football nuts out there, it's been forever. Me personally, I try to not think about it because, when the season ends, if you constantly, immediately, right away, start looking at, the next season's projections and the recruiting rankings and all that, and you're trying to rush the off season by to go ahead and get back to August to September and start the season, to me, you're just rushing your life away. So usually in the off season, I do everything but think about football. I do, a preview video on here on occasion, but outside of that, when I'm not doing a video, I'm listening to music or watching wrestling, watching baseball, not football stuff, because if you consume yourself with it in March, April, and May, then by June, you're going crazy because the season hasn't started yet. So I try not to get overly optimistic about the season starting until, late July, when I know that it's about here. Then I know when high school football starts, it's football season. But I figure since I've already did my season projections for West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and Texas Tech, that I might as well come on here and give my Big 12 power rankings according to ESPN. And this came out August the 4th, which was last Monday, so about 10 days ago. So I doubt it's changed since then. But I figured, why not go ahead and do it? I think I've already did the power rankings for the ACC and the Big 10 and the SEC, but not the Big 12. But according to ESPN, the power rankings, now of course the power rankings, if you try hard enough, you can find the records, but really, truly, the power rankings, they're just ranking the team based on who they think is the best, based on the roster, and that's it. There's no season projection totals and all that with power rankings, just a 1 through ever how many's in the conference. And I wish the Big 12 would change the name of the conference. I don't know what you change it to, but at one time it was called the Big 12, and they had 10 teams. Now it's the Big 12, and they have 16 teams. Just like the Big 10 is the Big 10, it's got 75 teams. I don't really want to go by numbers, because then every time you add a team or lose a team, you've got to change it. But to be called the Big 12 and have 16 teams is dumb, but every conference needs to change its name, because the SEC it used to be Southeastern Conference, but now you've got teams in Missouri and Oklahoma and Texas, and the ACC is supposed to stand for the Atlantic Coast Conference, which it used to be that, but now you've got teams in California and Texas, so it's not the Atlantic Coast. So all the conferences need to change their name. But nevertheless, let's look at ESPN's power rankings for the Big 12. Arizona State sits at the top, followed by Texas Tech, Kansas State, TCU, Utah rounds out the top 5, and then we've got Baylor, Iowa State, BYU, Kansas, and Colorado. And then the bottom 6 are Cincinnati, Houston, Oklahoma State, Arizona, Central Florida, and West Virginia. Now, it's funny because I just did Oklahoma State yesterday, and I said that I've got them picked to go 3-6 in the Big 12, and that's not, the bottom, but it's close. And ESPN's got them 13th, so the only team below them is Arizona, Central Florida, and West Virginia. So without seeing what their predicted overall record is and what their overall predicted conference record is, if they're 13th out of 16 teams, then they've got to be picked to go 3-6. And their 3 projected wins are probably Arizona, Central Florida, and I don't think they play West Virginia. But I did give them wins over Arizona and Central Florida. So I guess I'm right in line with what ESPN projects Oklahoma State to be. But now we're opposite ends with West Virginia, because I did my season prediction on them back, I guess, probably late June, mid-June maybe. And I picked them to go 8-4, and I said here on the channel when I said that roster-wise, they're nowhere close to being an 8-4 team. But I've just got a lot of confidence in Rich Rodriguez, and I know that Rich Rodriguez will get the best out of their current talent, which is not very good. But if they're picked dead last, then they're probably going to have 0 or 1 conference wins, according to ESPN. So we're pretty comparable with Oklahoma State. We're at opposite ends on West Virginia. I don't know what they've got their overall record to be, but if they're dead last, they're only going to have either 0 or 1 conference wins. Even if you win all 3 non-conference games, you're looking at a total of 3, maybe 4 wins total. And I picked Texas Tech to go 11-1, and they've got them number 2 in the conference behind Arizona State. So we're pretty comparable on that as well. And then they've got Kansas State 3rd, but I picked them to go 6-3 in the Big 12, which is probably going to be 5th, I would guess. 6-3 is pretty good, but Arizona State's going to finish better than that. Texas Tech's going to finish better than that. I think TCU finishes at least that, and I think Utah and Baylor finish at least that. So I'd probably have Kansas State 5 or 6, but nevertheless, we're pretty close on them as well. But we're opposite on West Virginia. But any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I saw a kangaroo hitchhiking, so I stopped and said, "Hop in." And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family